welcome back everyone to Club Entrepreneurship, where we talk to seasoned professional entrepreneurs about their business. I'm your co-host Maggie Gardner here with Manu, and today we have a very special guest, Jules Ochacher.
Hi, I'm Jules. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, thank you for coming. So we're going to be talking about your business and kind of like your life as a college student here at UMass.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk to us a little bit about what your business is?
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Westchester, New York, which is like 30 minutes outside of Manhattan. And I started Jules Aquatics in April of 2021. Jules Aquatics is a Westchester-based in-home swim school. And it's a sort of Montessori-style approach to learn to swim. And we specialize in in-home swim lessons. And that basically all means using toys, music, and a therapeutic relationship. A therapeutic relationship is basically having like a consistent instructor working with one kid, all in an in-home pool. So lots of like backyard, front yard swimming pools, community pools, so that kids can really become comfortable in one space and just focus on learning to swim.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's I really like the concept of like in-home pool, because I learned swimming in a community pool where there are like a lot of and it wasn't really a very comfortable experience or hygienic experience, I would say.
Yeah.
But that's really I really like that concept. I wish I learned swimming that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's a great drowning prevention strategy because most accidental drownings happen in in-home pools. Your kid runs outside in the backyard and they could be underwater in less than 60 seconds. So if your kid knows like, okay, this is the shallow end, I know how to get to the wall from here, and there's like a little secret step in the back of the pool, those are all great ways to help prevent accidental drownings as well.
That's really cool because, where did this inspiration come from? So were you maybe a swim teacher, a lifeguard? Did you experience this for yourself and you just kind of wanted to solve this problem?
So I got my lifeguarding and water safety instructor certification when I was 16, and I worked at a day camp, and then I was a swim coach at a country club. And I'm not the best swimmer, but I like kind of have a knack for teaching kids how to swim. So I got asked to do a lot of like in-home swim lessons and private lifeguarding. Then once COVID hit and clubs and camps weren't really open for the summer, I like focused in on doing private in-home swim lessons because there's just less a COVID risk, of course. And that's kind of how I got the idea. The demand for in-home swim lessons was completely overwhelming. I think a lot of people like moved out of the city during COVID and then built pools and homes in Westchester. So suddenly like everyone also was a 2-year-old in a pool, and there was so much demand. So that's how the business started.
So you said it started during COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how do you think how has it grown in the past 2 years? Did you just start giving some lessons on yourself and by yourself, and then you started building it out, or how was your journey like?
So it definitely started out just me doing in-home swim stuff, lifeguarding and swim instruction, and I realized there was such a big demand that I like called up one of my swim friends and I was like, hey, do you want to take on some swim lessons? And that's when I realized that like I could have people teaching swim the way I teach swim at the same time in 5 different places. And I started hiring more and more instructors, more and more lifeguards, and that really allowed me to expand and get a lot more clients. By the end of summer 2021, I had about 25 clients, and by the end of summer 2022, I had 45 clients.
Wow, very big change. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thanks.
Because I don't know if you know this, but I'm also a swim instructor as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm a swim instructor as well. I do privates. I don't do in-home, which I think is really important because, you know, you're teaching this child for an extended period of time. You're not only seeing your growth, but you're seeing that connection.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are able to, you know, as you're doing, support them in, like, their own environment, that just adds to how comfortable they are. And, like, their confidence, I bet, just is, like, such a big, like, difference for, like, at their house versus, like, at this, like, random pool.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
yeah.
I definitely focus on, like, learn to swim, so it's mostly even 1-year-olds, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Like, really
yeah,
little
really
kids.
little baby.
That's interesting. So I wanted to know how like you got into this mindset of like I'm not sure. I'm obviously it's obvious that like you may not have thought, oh, like let's start some business, or just like, oh, so I know swimming, so let's start doing this. Like it seemed like you naturally progressed into it.
Mm-hmm.
As you got your certification, and then you saw this demand, and then you want. So was it just your like natural passion to like do this, or was it just a thought, oh, like I want to do some business or something like that?
Definitely a combination. I never thought I'd go into business at all. I'm a nursing major, and I never thought that I had like a knack for business, but my dad definitely does, and I have a few close friends that, you know, once this started going, they were like, hey, this is a good idea, you should lean into this. And I got amazing advice from close friends and family, and that was a huge support. I could not have done it without them.
Interesting. It's like why I find this particularly very interesting is because it's nothing like, it's not very innovative, but it's also like, I don't mean to say in that way. It's like you're not going like, it's like you found way to like provide a different way of accessing your market, and like you're providing a service which is different from the conventional way of doing it, and that's you know, that's one kind of innovation, but it's also like you used your skill to find a new avenue to sell that particular skill. And that's what I think like people should focus on. It's like sometimes when they just like go out, or like we look at the launch competition, it's like they're looking for solutions, or they're building technologies, or they're like trying to find a solution to a particular problem. But then it also comes down to like how well are you using your own skills and your strengths to easily find that particular gap where you can fill in. And like this is just, yeah, you're changing the whole way of learning swimming, but it's also like you're also using your particular skills, so that's interesting.
Yeah, this specialization aspect, but also that you personalize it, and you take into account that connection that client has with not only you but like the area around. I think that's really important, and that's where your business stands out, and that's really important in business, you know, because you want to try to make yourself stand out. And I think that your story and your business is like a perfect example of like, you know, finding something that not necessarily is like uncommon, but you found a way to make it, you know, unique and stand out. So I think that's really, really great that you're doing that, and you're continuing to do that, especially as a college student. And you said you're in nursing?
Yeah, I'm a nursing student. I think you guys make a great point. Like, a lot of the times when we talk about entrepreneurship, there's this misconception that you have to like make something new out of thin air, which is totally valid, but that's really hard to do. And there are so many things that like can be improved upon. So another area of entrepreneurship that I definitely like am in is like the improvement side of things rather than completely creating a new product.
Yeah, that development and, you know, unique innovation, you know? Yeah, that's definitely extremely important in like the process. So
I would like to I would like you to elaborate more on being a nursing major, and your passion. Like, how does it relate to entrepreneurship?
Sure. So I think that's a great question. I think that, like, even 5-10 years ago, nurses were nurses. Maybe this is just my understanding of it as a very, very new nurse, but
You nurse.
okay, I'm not a nurse yet, but I'm really new to the field,
Yeah.
you know? And I think one of the amazing things about COVID is that we're seeing nurses in a new light. Nurses can be entrepreneurs, nurses can be business owners, nurses can be anything. And I think that starting this business and having so much support from friends and family, saying like, yeah, you're gonna be a nurse, but you can also be an entrepreneur, like, that has completely inspired me and even like changed my career trajectory.
Wow, yeah, that's a great point, because like I guess like our whole like perception of like people who are working in healthcare like since COVID has completely changed. Like
Totally.
having those like life-saving skills and going like even right now like you're going through the whole rigorous process of like nursing major, doing your clinicals and
Mhm.
stuff. Does that also like help you like I guess does that make it easier for you to just like if you're starting a business or running something like it's just a bit easier than all the rigorous process that you have been going through for your nursing major? Like, does that make it easier to just like run a business or?
Are you asking if like having a nursing major makes it easier to start a business?
Or does it, or having a nursing major makes it like doing a business easier? Like it's not that intimidating, or it's like it's not a big deal. It's like you're doing nursing. It's like doing a business is not a big deal for you.
So you're saying like because I'm doing nursing,
Yeah.
like anything
Yeah.
else is fine? No, not at all. Like it's just as scary, just as intimidating to start a business and run a business. But there are definitely things about nursing that have made it easier. For example, I think that there's just like massive public trust in nurses and nursing students. So parents are very quick to say like, oh, you're a nursing student, like, yes, you can hold my baby in the water, like, you're good.
Yeah.
That's definitely been helpful.
Oh yeah.
And just like having the mindset of nursing has helped some things, but just as scary, I think.
Yeah, I feel like they're two. I kind of understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
because when you think of nursing, especially as a college student, you think of all this work and all of this like just information that you're currently consuming, and like on the side, like as a college student, you're running this business, and like business in itself is its own monster, you know, especially starting it, maintaining it, and you know, I just feel like could you elaborate on like how that you've maintained that balance with, you know, keeping up with your academics, you know, your social life, your everything here at school, but also maintaining that with what you have at home, like your business?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a very, very, very happy accident is my business is completely seasonal. I think that in some point in the future, after graduation, I might try to expand somewhere warmer or work with indoor pools and have this be a year-round thing. But at the moment, Jules Aquatics only operates from May to September. So during the school year, I'm able to commit myself 100% to school and really put Jules Aquatics on the back burner. While I'm in college, I try and spend between like 1 and 3 hours a week learning about the aquatics industry, updating my website, staying in touch with people that I'm working with or clients, or just reaching out to like experts in the field to try and improve my understanding of my business and get prepared for the next summer. But it is a really low commitment during the school year, and I think like I couldn't do it any other way, because when I'm in school, like I have to be here 100%.
I think that's very important as well, and it's good that like you have that seasonal option, you know.
Yeah, amazing.
So, but you're also dedicating that time to continue to build your knowledge about your business, even when you're not, you know, actively working on your business. I think that passive like gain of knowledge is really, really important. It shows your passion for what you do.
Thank you.
You said in the future you want it to be like a year-round thing. So
Yeah.
how do you envision like how you're gonna manage it? Like, do you think you wanna do it like full time, or is it something that you want to do on the side? But like, like how do you see that going in the future?
It's a great question. I think that the business model is franchisable, and I could create Jules Aquatics hubs in cities all across the state, or even going south and going west a little bit, so that people with in-home pools could take advantage of private swim lessons year round. I also love the idea of having this be an opportunity for nursing students, because something that I think people don't totally understand about nursing is there's this huge component of patient teaching that we learn in school. And I'm not saying that teaching a kid to swim is the same as like teaching a patient when to take their medications, but you are practicing a lot of those nursing skills. Also, like, touching another person is something that was so strange to me at the beginning of nursing. Like, literally walking into a room, something that I've never seen before in my life, never spoken to, and like, they're naked, and you gotta put your hands on them. That is okay, that's part of it, but I think like working with a kid and learning to be that close to another person, especially after COVID and like spending 2 years 6 feet apart from everyone, is really great for nursing students. So I'd love to ideally have some sort of program where Jules Aquatics is a branch of nursing schools in different pockets of the country, in addition to New York.
That's an interesting model, and I'd also it's good. So that means you don't want you wanted to expand, but also you also want to like follow your career path of like going in the nursing and like into the healthcare. So you want to ideally manage both of them in the future,
yes.
but also expand that.
Absolutely, yes.
And, yeah, so that's a good model to go with it, because like you don't have to like oversee, but also like
definitely you do have to oversee.
No, I mean, yeah, you have to oversee, but it's like if you're doing it on a franchise model, then like you don't have to directly manage them.
Yeah, it's true.
I definitely feel like, being able to continue to pursue your dreams in both paths, and like the way that you are going about it seems very efficient in the fact that you don't necessarily, when you have this franchise idea, you have other people working with you, and you're able to branch out to different locations. I think that it's going to be really great for your business and good for you, because you'll be able to not only focus on your nursing career, but able to do this without being as directly active if you continued it to be year-round, but just kind of like you being like that main like very active room in that. And so I feel like what you're doing, it's like you're kind of you were talking about how after COVID, after like a lot of stuff that's happened, nurses are seen in a new light. And I think that you're like definitely one of those like those head people that are really proving to like not only just nurses, but like everyone, that like nurses can be more, and that
Totally.
doing this, you're like you're a perfect example of that. And I think that's really inspirational, and you can inspire a lot of people, nurses especially.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think you did answer my question about how your nursing helped you and then like teaching kids like made it like normalized so teaching giving swim lessons. So that's definitely interesting. But I would like to know your thoughts on like scope for innovation in the healthcare sector, like being like nursing. Did you ever think about like doing something like is there anything that you might want to do, or were there any experiences that you felt like, oh, like this could be better, or you might want to do something in that way?
Are you asking if there is like room for improvement in healthcare?
I mean, there is room for improvement,
Of
that we
course.
know, but it's
Yeah.
like from your personal experiences, like did you feel like, oh, like this could be a solution for this problem? So like maybe like you wanna like, oh, someone should do something about it, like right?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's actually something I've thought a lot about. I'm considering going back to school and getting an MBA with a concentration in healthcare administration, specifically to focus on issues that I've seen, and more so like nursing problems than just this big general word like healthcare issues, because yeah, there's a million issues in healthcare, but nurses see a lot of them, and nurses see a lot of problems that like someone with a business background might not really see. And I do have some solutions. I'm not gonna share them right now because I'm planning on doing these things down the line. But you'll find out maybe in like 10 years. Maybe you'll come to my hospital and you'll see these things in action.
That's great. I love how you've got that, shoot for the stars mentality.
Oh, yeah,
that's definitely a really important thing, especially with, everything you're having. I think mentality that you have in this positive light is super important for you to be able to push for those ambitions and just continue to do that. Another question I had regarding your business. So on your off season when you're at school, do you have any other clients that come to you and ask, for the next season? Like, do you keep in contact with people who, could be potential clients for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you definitely develop relationships with clients, and there are some that, literally will just text you, hey, I want swim lessons this time, that's it. Like, they send their nanny out. They don't want to talk to me. Other clients sending me pictures of their kids, blowing bubbles in the winter, on vacation in Florida. Some people really like to stay in touch, which I love. I love seeing kids continue to swim over the school year. So yeah, I do stay in touch with some people, but some people don't want anything to do with me, and that's also totally fine.
So how was your experience when initially you did say you called up your friend and you were asked if they were interested, but then as you kept on I don't know how many people, but if you hired people for your company, then how did managing that go?
I think that the greatest barrier I've had to expand in has been hiring, actually. It's been extremely difficult. I think I care a lot about, only hiring people that I trust myself and I would trust with other people's kids. So I do have extremely high expectations when I'm going to hiring. In the past, I've reached out to some nursing schools in Westchester, and I asked, hey, do you have any students that might be interested in working as a swim instructor in my program? And I got a couple responses from that, but it was still really hard to hire. I think the whole world is experiencing this barrier in hiring right now, but it's also hard when you want the best of the best, right?
Yeah. Is there a particular reason that you only reached out to nursing schools, just because you think there's a good trust factor there?
There's definitely a trust factor, definitely with parents, and I also I think that this is a great opportunity for people to work as a private swim instructor. I'm also able to pay really great rates, and I want to give those benefits to nursing students first to just kind of support my own kind. But there did get to a point this summer where I had exhausted every nursing student in Westchester, and I did reach out to just people with swim experience.
So did you face if you did face a time where there was there's overwhelming demand and you wish you had more people who were working for you, how did you it must still be tempting, right? Just to hire someone so that you can fill in this demand, but also maintain that trust factor was it's your brand, it's your company, you still have to maintain that quality of or everyone's someone's coming from Jules Ochacher, so they're teaching us swim lessons, the standards should be up there. So it's how do you was that your first priority, or was I have demand, so I need to hire more and expand this, I need to make it as big as possible? So how do you manage those
My priority is always quality over quantity. I would not hire someone just to be able to manage the demand I had. This summer I took on a lot of swim lessons when I wasn't able to hire people to take them on. I think the most swim lessons I ever gave in one day was 9, which is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but I love it. It's so much fun being outside, being in the pool, and I mean, I wish that I was able to hire more people this past summer, but I definitely see some mistakes that I made. I think I started too late. I started in like March. This year I'm gonna start in January, start hiring in January, and hopefully we'll have better results.
Oh yeah, you always learn from your experiences.
Yeah,
so that's
definitely.
good. Now, I was interested in before or after, like during running this business, like what did you learn from from the college? Like, what were there any classes, clubs, experiences, events that that you found were like helpful from college, or after this experience, are you contributing in any way, like apart from coming to this podcast? But yeah, how what are you doing in terms of like business or entrepreneurship related stuff on campus?
Sure, that's a great question. I don't have a lot of like businessy time with my peers just because nursing is so focused. So I try to take advantage of extracurriculars to like kind of get the little businessy piece in. Right now I'm involved in Jewish Leaders in Business. I'm the director of events for that club, and that's been a really amazing experience, just getting to know other people that are involved in business and talking about leadership and ways to, you know, strategize and further everyone's businesses.
Yeah. So, could you elaborate more on like how sometimes like I don't know how the experience like how the club is, but like do you like to often talk about your business to others, or do you like listen to other businesses or other students who are doing a similar thing, and sometimes it like inspires you, or sometimes it hits or you have some sort of an epiphany, or like, oh, I should be doing this, or like I could do this, or something like that.
I haven't met a lot of other students that have started their own businesses yet, but there are a lot of resources. Like, we speak to amazing guest speakers that are involved in business and entrepreneurship, and I think there's just a different sort of business mentality. So sometimes I'll talk to them about like my business model, and they'll have suggestions for improvement. Another thing that I do to like kind of stay on my A game is I reach out to a lot of faculty and professors that are involved in business and entrepreneurship. Shout out to Dave Wells, who has been really helpful in talking about business stuff with me. But there's so many people in business. Also Liz Thoreau in nursing. I've had several conversations with her, and she's been really helpful giving suggestions and input for my business.
Oh yeah, no, that's really good, because it's like sometimes students most like generally like you sometimes see students who are like doing really good, like really well, they're like building exciting businesses, or but they still like they're either not really confident about it, or don't seem to think of it as a big thing, and they some or they're just too afraid that it might fail. So it's like sometimes they fail to realize that they are still in college, and it's one of the biggest strengths, like to do a business and also be in college, because you have like so access to so many free resources, which is generally not the case when you're like out like working like starting a business outside of college.
Yeah, being in college, like I feel like from everyone here and everyone listening's experience, you know, college offers so many different paths, so many resources, valuable resources to expand anything. You know, college, this time is like a time where people are able to figure out more about themselves, you know, on like an intellectual, personal level, but also like on a knowledge level, and that's like why they're here. And so one more thing that I wanted to ask you is, you know, you've kind of talked about how, you know, nurses and people, you know, in the healthcare industry are, you know, changing, going forward, you know, having this like this view of range for themselves. And do you have any advice or words of wisdom for people like that?
Yeah, absolutely. My advice is think big. Think so big, because the people that have billions of dollars, successful businesses, they all started out like us. I mean, yeah, some people, you know, come from families with money, and I know that can be really intimidating, but you can do anything. I know people say you can do anything, but you really can do anything. You just have to think so big and shoot your shot. 9 out of 10 businesses fail. Eventually, every client will no longer be your client. These are just realities of business, but you have to shoot your shot.
I think that's a very important thing, because, you know, reach for that stars, having that mentality,
Yeah.
having that ambition, having that hustle, you know,
Have that
continuing
hustle, and when you fail, try again,
Mhm.
and try again, and try again, forever.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us here on the podcast. I definitely learned a lot from like listening to your business, listening to your story, and I just appreciate you, you know, spending that time with us. So,
I really look forward to seeing more exciting things that we're gonna do in the future. And thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Maggie. Thanks for that. This was great.
yeah. So, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time on the Club Entrepreneur Podcast.